and welcome to Real WW Talk. I am Rikki.
And I'm Candice.
Well, welcome, Candice. Community, we love you. How are you doing? We are, as you know, still wishing our Erin well as she continues to heal. So we don't have an official welcome back date for her, but we'll welcome her with open arms.
Yeah, she'll let us know, and she'll come in with a bang with a recipe or something.
Yes.
And it'll be just like she never left. But guys, we have been checking in with her. She's recovering well. She's getting outside, still able to enjoy some of what I think she got ice cream, a few weeks ago, was able to get out and do that. That was exciting to see. So
yes, definitely. How was your week, Candice?
Getting closer to my birthday.
Yes.
I'm one of those that say that I celebrate my birthday from August 1st to August 31st, even
As
though
you should.
I mean, come on. I mean, even though it's technically like the 13th,
Uh-huh.
but I think, especially this year, I think I was telling you, Rikki, like, I am now a 2-time breast cancer survivor. I recently finished up radiation because that was a whole thing with it having to be delayed and having to switch plans. So it just feels like it's been a journey yet again to get me here again. So I'm looking forward to celebrating.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think I really celebrated like as much as I should have the last time. This time I'm like, oh no, I don't care if I'm just letting people do whatever they want to do because 2-time breast cancer survivor. That's a big deal.
You should definitely celebrate that. You deserve it.
I will. How about you? How's your
Well, August is a tricky month because 3 of my besties were
I have to be included.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
And we're born in August. It's my half birthday. My mom's birthday is in August, but also the day after my mom's birthday, which is the same day as Candice's birthday, I have to go back to that place that I work. So we're getting closer and closer. But honestly, I feel like the summer has gone by kind of slowly, which I can normally not say, like in a good way. Like I feel like it's been a nice, slow summer. Like I feel like as much as I want it to drag on, I will be ready to go back. And I may regret saying that, but that's what
I feel the opposite. Like I actually feel like it's gone quick. I don't know if that's because I was kind of like looking at treatment stuff, and then Isaiah's going to preschool. He's not going to preschool. He's going to kindergarten. And I just like the commercials and stuff, the fact that it applies to him. I want so badly for me to transfer him to Rikki's district so that she can be around and do all the things, but I'm having to let go. So summer camp has helped with that because he's had a longer day for his summer camp, but Rikki, I don't know if I'm ready. I feel like I wish it was like you where it was a slow summer. I feel like it's gone like this.
No. Well, I mean, I feel like once things start in the fall, maybe things will slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget, guys, just, for those, we were talking about it and promoting it, but we went ahead and set up all the step bets for the rest of the year. And in a few weeks, our summer finisher step bet, we're calling it Pumpkin Spice Up Your Fall. It's going to be starting.
Yeah.
And so you can join the game right now. Make sure you go to the Step Bet app, download it, put in the game code RWWT. We always like to say, I'm the step better. Rikki and Erin roll their eyes. As you see, I'm excited again for yet another one. But this one's another 6-week game. And join us, guys, because I feel like that's going to be a good way to kind of get ready for the school year too. So you have a few weeks to be lazy, and then it's time to walk. So
yeah, and sometimes it is a nice time to start because it's a natural, like you're saying, it's like a natural time that I'm going from being sedentary to moving, and it can be a little bit easier to hit those goals because I'm on my feet a lot more, getting those steps in naturally, and I'm not having to force it like over the summer. Yeah. Well, so Candice, there was this video that I thought we could watch because I saw it on Instagram. I want to shout out the content creator because I was just scrolling and I just thought her content was really interesting. Her name is Say Yes to the Fresh, which is super cute. So definitely give her a check out because she's got a lot of healthy living type videos. But I thought we'd take a look at this because it was just such an interesting viewpoint on how we view ourselves and how we view our weight loss. And how about we take it out and then
I
have a
can't wait.
okay.
Videos of what they ate in a day before they lost weight or before they went on a GLP-1. And, I think it's cool that people can recognize when they maybe had habits that weren't serving them. But I also just want to point out that I've lost 116 pounds. And I know that I'm not the only one in this boat, but I don't have anything crazy that I used to do when I was 300 pounds. Like, I really feel like I ate pretty healthy. Like, on a bad day, it was maybe like a turkey Publix sub for lunch and then like a Chipotle bowl for dinner that I would eat half of. And I just want to say that, like, and just remind people that not every fat person has really unhealthy habits. Like, I was working out as much, maybe not, definitely not as much as I do now, but at least a couple to a few times a week. And I was eating like very average, I would say. Like, I wasn't eating extraordinarily healthy. Like, I certainly eat healthier now, just as far as like getting my protein intake in and just small changes. But like, I just think I wanted to make this as a reminder, like, for anybody that has PCOS or insulin resistance or any sort of metabolic syndrome, like, a lot of times it's not our fault. Like, it's not anything you're doing that's making you gain weight. And before I got my PCOS diagnosis, I was eating very much in a calorie deficit. I was tracking everything I was doing, and I gained 7 pounds in 2 weeks doing that. Like, I understand that it's calories out versus calories in, but like, for a lot of people, it's not that simple. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video as a reminder to those who are in that boat. Maybe it's a niche topic, but I think that a lot of people will relate to this and maybe needed to hear it. So that's all. There's this new trend right.
So I don't know. I thought this would be a really good one to share because even if you don't have those conditions that she was discussing, like, haven't you had those weeks or those challenging seasons, which for me, I feel like it's been a season that lasted years, where it's like, yes, I can take accountability for a lot of those times where I was like, I was not eating healthy, but there are times where the scale just doesn't match. And I think what we say about our previous selves and what we say about what happened or why we stayed the same can be really meaningful,
Yeah. I really loved how she, explained that, because I think that just like it's just so varied for so many people. I've spent a lifetime really villainizing my old self. Like, just honestly, like myself, even before I've lost 35, 50 pounds or whatever, I always focused on, well, I was eating too many sweets, or I did this, or I did that. But to her point, I don't know if it was always just as excessive. It's not that you want to, I think the hard part is like, I don't want to give myself excuses,
Right.
like, and to say, because there is a formula and all of that, but there really are truly things that can work against a person that, and your great analogy, it doesn't level, the playing field is not leveled. And some people have advantages, whether it be a metabolism thing or not fighting an illness. For me, mine has been, I've been shifted into this menopausal state. And I'm also on medicine that can truthfully make it harder for me to lose weight. Doesn't mean that I have an excuse to just go off the rails, but I do have to acknowledge that. And I really love that she said, do we truly think about those things, when we're analyzing our past self, and then what are we saying about who we were then?
Right.
And
so many things in our society, and even not just in America, but all over the world, I think stem from the ideas and stereotypes that people, including ourselves, may have of people who are overweight.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you're overweight, that means you are this. Like, I think there was one commenter online that said to a woman who was talking about like getting on, I think a theme park ride, and the person was like, well, you should ride a bike instead. You know, everything is twisted about culture, that people feel the need to just say mean things to strangers. But it's like, how do you know that she doesn't ride a bike every day? How do you know that she, like, we are so trained to think that fit bodies mean someone who's always exercising, and that bodies that they look less fit are not fit, which is not always the case.
Two things that grind my gears is the thought that a fit body means a healthy body, because I have known many a person who has had a quote unquote healthy body, but was doing it in a very unhealthy way. Whether it was things that could borderline eating disorders, over exercising, under eating, you know, and maybe aesthetically to the culture, they're like, that's health, but they were miserable, and it was really messing with their mental health too.
Yeah.
And then I really, really abhor the thought that people have that all people who struggle with their weight are lazy. You know, there's a thought that like, oh, I bet their house is completely dirty, or they just don't, they probably underproduce at work, you know, because it's like a lazy spirit that they have because their weight is out of control. I think that we look for those generalizations in order to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I also think that people start to feel really proud of themselves, which I'm not trying to go off topic, but I do think that people start to feel really proud of themselves if it's not something that they struggle with. You know, so it's like, I can look at someone who is a heroin addict and be like, I mean, gosh, if you could just stop it. Like, I just don't understand. Why do you have to do, that's not my challenge. That's not my struggle.
Right.
So you had to be careful. When I worked in the Veterans Court, we had people who were addicted to some hardcore drugs, and you could make some assumptions about their intellect or about who they are or what they love. And you have no clue. You really don't.
Right.
You know?
And at the end of the day, there are so many people who, it's like if you trade, you know, the word obesity for alcoholism or whatever it is, at the end of the day, we are all people who are trying to get through, whether it be trauma or whether it not be trauma. Sometimes we're just genetics, you know, and we're just trying to get through the world and be the best people we can be. Most people, I feel like, have that intention to be like, who can I be today? How can I present myself to the world? And, you know, sometimes either we have our own insecurities that make us present ourselves as maybe insecure or not as confident, or we go through life and sometimes people just make those assumptions about us and then send us into, you know, our responses to that.
So, and I wonder for you and for me, just to throw in a question out there for us to analyze, but how do you think that it has affected your healing? Like even your journey now, because you know, you are having some of the physical changes that are, you know, the weight loss and whether it's been slow and steady, you know, but it's challenging, you know, where you may have been 2-3 years ago. How has the thoughts that you've had about yourself in the past, or the thoughts that were placed on you from others, affected how you're processing the changes that you're making now?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think I'm still unlearning the whole, like, you are better when you're skinnier. You're a better version of you when you're skinnier. I think that is something I'm unlearning. Like the whole, like, I'm learning to love myself now. And I'm learning that I have value now as somebody who, you know, can go on dates, as somebody who is a good friend and a good teacher. But I'm having to unlearn the voices that are telling me, like, you're just, this is a temporary phase. You're going to get to your goal weight and then things will be better. And I think that's the kind of narrative that I've been told and that I've told myself over and over again for years. Because being honest, I am 35 pounds down, but I'm also still at one of the highest levels I've been in my weight loss journey. Like I still have a ways to go to get to what I think might be the healthiest weight for me.
Right.
And even given that, I think about when I was closer to that, how I still wasn't satisfied. And that's because I was looking for satisfaction and my thought patterns didn't adjust to me seeing myself, the value in myself, regardless of my weight.
Yeah. For me, weight was always similar. Just, I relate to a lot of what you said, because for me, my weight my worth has always been tied up in my weight. Like I never felt worthy of good things until I hit a number, and it would make me obsess over a number or over the next weight goal. Like you said, even hearing you say, well, it's 35, but I have a lot to go.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that. I still have a lot to go on my journey, but my worth now is the same. And that's what I'm having to continue to say to myself. My worth right now is the same as it will be at 150 pounds. I'm not any more worthy at 150 than I am over 200. Like, it's not like, and I think that you can get cues from society that that's not true. Like, other people will feel it, but they really don't. Like, I'm learning that people are fickle, and going based on others is always a really, really wayward and not appropriate path, because people's opinions change for so many different reasons. Because then when you get thin, I have someone in my family lost a significant amount of weight. Now it's like, okay, now you're starting to look like that bobblehead. You're looking a little weird. Like, they always have something to say, look at that skin. You got a little, what are you going to do with all that extra skin or whatever? It's going to be something. And so trying not to tie, if you're using something like weight to be the metric for worth, it's a very, very slippery slope. And even with her acknowledging and saying, I wasn't even that out of control when I was extremely overweight. What I hear her saying was, I had worth then. I don't have to be so mean about Candice 35 pounds ago, Rikki 35 pounds ago. She still was worthy. Right. She was worthy of dates then. She was worthy of cute clothes. She just didn't believe it.
Right. And I think that's the transformation that has to happen, is instead of me associating my past failures with my weight, my past failures are associated with the way I felt about myself, and then in turn how I was presenting myself, because I think my confidence has always been impacted. So I don't interact as bubbly or as friendly as I would with a friend in public. So I might seem like I'm unfriendly, or like I don't want to be approached. And I think that makes it harder to make those new connections and give the expression to the world that, like, hey, I'm, someone who is fun to meet.
And, we hear it said over and over again about, like, challenging the thoughts, like, and people will tell you, you were worthy then, and this is this. And I think that that's easier said than done. I was thinking about, there's a place I like called the Healing Waters, which is basically just a big jacuzzi. It's like, at a spa that's local, but when you go out, you put on a bathing suit, and there's some people who are very scantily clad, and they have the body type with it. And there was a time where I thought that I shouldn't go in there until I was down a certain number of pounds, and having to look and say, but why am I removing myself from an experience that I love because of what I perceive to be the thoughts of others, or the thought that you are not worth it until. And I think going through even the medical challenges that I went through probably gave me a little bit more confidence to kind of push back on that. I'm still uncomfortable with it, but I'm trying to seek out those uncomfortable moments and use it to challenge the thoughts that are so embedded. Because even we can get into a cycle about what we think about our journeys. I used to say always in July I gain weight. I don't know what it is. The first half of the month, first half of the year, I'm on it. And then July to December, I'm like, that's where I regain all of my weight. I don't know if that was a pattern in the past, but I know that that doesn't have to mean that it's like a pattern now. And really it was tied to, oh my gosh, I'm starting to lose weight. I'm not worth it. I'm not worth all these good feelings. Let me go ahead and self-sabotage, and that's taken therapy and pushing back and saying all the things, 2 bad days doesn't mean a bad week. Okay, at the cake, that doesn't mean that it has to, it can just be cake.
Right.
And then it could be something else. So, to her point, you didn't, I wasn't as out of control as my mind said I was, because I can't trust my thoughts.
Right. And I think there are ways that we spin that more positively. Like, we do say, oh, I always lose weight on vacation. And it's like, that's a positive thing. But it's like, I think instead of, we might get caught if we go on another trip and we eat, go to Disney again and eat everything under the sun and then expect to lose weight. And like, let's say this time I don't. Well, it could be that the patterns that I had when I was going on vacations before were different. And it was the patterns, not the fact that I was just magically on vacation. No, look, there's patterns. Maybe the last time I went to Europe, I walked, 5 miles a day or 10 miles a day, whatever it is. And maybe the food wasn't that good. So I didn't eat as much, or I shared a lot of meals. So it's like, I think we need to focus on the patterns and the routines that have helped us, instead of like the global statements of I always this and I always that.
And the confidence to say, I mean, we talk about Syat, but not just him, even the girl who we just listened to. There's a confidence that you kind of like, I'm able to turn things around. This number is really not that big of a deal. I'm not that horrible of a person.
Right.
It's like having to push back of the extremes, because anytime you have an always or a nothing, it's an extreme thought, Now, like you said, sometimes it can be in a good way. I never lose a step bet like that. But that's pressure too, right? Because if I lost one, would it be so gut wrenching? Like, I said I'd never lose step bets and I lost this one, it's like, or, okay, well, I lost it. That was that. And now let's move on. I think that I'm trying to get into that middle ground place of having enough confidence in myself and enough self-worth that's not dependent on external numbers and on bad mouthing who I was before to feel good about where I am now. I don't have to bad mouth old Candice to feel good about the choices and the changes that I'm making now, even if it's just waking up to walk or
But at the end of the day, it's like, do you truly feel like there's an old me and a new me? Like,
right.
We like to say that, but it's like, no, you're the same person. Like you're the same person. Your habits may be different. Your dedication may be different, or your diet may be different. Maybe your medication is different, or your diagnosis is different, or the salt intake is different, or your work routines. Maybe you have a job where you walk more, or vice versa. So like, I think those are the things we have to pinpoint instead of associating it with ourselves.
Yeah. I'm still the Candice who loves the cupcakes. I'm still the Candice who loves the cake. I'm still the Candice who loves the Peloton. It's not just, I'm the one who loves the walking. I love my friends. I also love my quiet time. All of the things can be true at the same time. To your point.
You are still the same Candice, but your behavior changed and you no longer go to the cake place.
I was about to say, I don't go and get my thank you cake that I'm like, this is to Coretta. They're like, oh, who's Coretta? Don't worry about it. Because
my twin sister.
It's my cake. And then this is pre-David, pre-Isaiah, come home and be like, congratulations, Coretta. Get out my fork and go to town. Now I might be okay with just getting a cupcake, but I think that even if I were to, let's say I did, and that really, really good, but let's say I did go and decide I was going to have a whole cake from Cakes Plus, which is a really great bakery, near here. Even in that moment, there's still a choice, to say, okay. And for me, I always make it so big. Well, that's it. That's the end of the journey. I told you. I knew July was hard. I just knew it. Instead of being like, okay, I'm up 6 pounds this week because I ate the whole cake. But that also means I probably will have a really great loss next week. And my worth isn't tied into the numbers anyway. I'm just making sustainable changes and ones that make me feel good, especially as a 2-time survivor. I'm really great. Let's move on. That kind of discussion is when you don't label yourself, like you said, old person, this person's so much better. This version of me is so much better. No, this version of Rikki may have cuter clothes because she's choosing to put on cuter clothes, or Candice got her hair done, or you got your nails done, but you could have gotten your nails done in the past. You may just not have chosen to.
Right, exactly. I think it's all a reflection upon how we're feeling about ourselves and how we're choosing to invest the time and effort that it takes to build ourselves up. instead of tear ourselves down.
And
Because
shutting off the noise, really
Mhm.
honestly and truthfully.
Mhm.
And that's so hard.
It is.
It's so hard because especially on social media, so many people are so willing to give their opinion on things that
Mhm.
nobody asked you. I
Right.
didn't ask you if you like the color pink. Well, you really shouldn't wear that in the evening. Well, guess what? That's
Mhm.
what I'm wearing right now because that's
Right.
what I want to wear,
Yeah.
and we're second guessing ourselves because of people who don't even like themselves.
Mhm.
They wake up every day with the same insecurities, but we somehow make their voices louder than really what should be our own,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So silence the noise.
Yes, that is everyone's homework. Go home and find a way to, if you need quiet time or time to like read affirmations. What do you
Do
think, Candice?
affirmations help you? Are you an affirmations girl? Or are you like a journaler or
I'm
what?
not really an affirmations person. I like to journal. I've started to journal more. I don't do it every day, but between that and I like to like look up quotes. I'm more of a like a Pinterest, and
Okay.
like I go to my Bible app too. And sometimes if I need an encouraging word, I'll either like put it in my notes section of my
Mhm.
phone,
Mhm.
or I will like do a picture of it in the Bible app where you can like make a verse into a pretty like picture with a background. So I
Yeah.
think having those visuals where I can have it on my phone and just look at it when I need some encouragement, that really helps me.
Yeah, me too. My therapist has always given me the homework of affirmations, but I try
Mhm.
to make them one of the things that I've been doing, not as much, but I'm going to go back to is if you're going to give an affirmation, I have to give 3 examples of why it's true. So that was something she said
Oh,
to cement it in your mind. So it's like,
yeah.
you're a good person. Here's 3 examples of that. And then instead of
Okay.
saying, I'm a great person, I'm a great
Mhm.
person because
Mhm.
I care about my family, or I called
Mhm.
my grandmother today, or whatever you need to give yourself proof that what you're saying is true.
Mhm. I love that. That's a great
Mhm.
exercise.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, our homework for you guys in the Real WW Talk community is to write down some things that you love about yourself.
Yeah.
And remember, you are yourself, not just your past self, your current self, your future self, just you. What do you love about you now? And what are you working for? And what are you going to keep? Why are you the amazing person that you are? We'd love to, if you feel comfortable sharing that with us, we'd love for you to share it with us. Candice, you want to share how
Yeah.
they can do that?
Well, we've made it so easy for you. Real WW Talk is the name of the podcast. We would love if you put us in your back pocket if you're going for a walk. You can search for us anywhere that you stream your podcasts. You can find us on Facebook, which is probably our most active community. We have almost 11,000 of you there. Answer a few questions so we make sure you're not a bot or a spammer. And answer your questions there. Search for Real WW Talk. Also on Instagram, you can follow us there. We try to make it, like I said, very simple. And we are so incredibly grateful to our subscribers, quote unquote, fans here on the podcast. You all are the reason that we're able to do what we do. If you would like to be a monthly, it's not supporter, there is a link in our show notes, which is really the description that's at the bottom of the podcast on how to make a donation monthly or a one-time donation, because we know what the times are. But if you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you who help keep the podcast going. So search for us there. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to realwwtalk@gmail.com. If you do, there's a place on Buzzsprout and in the podcast where you can send what they call fan mail. We love to read that from you. We are not able to respond, but if we see it and it's something that we want to shout out, we certainly will. And we also want to say thank you to everyone who sent encouraging cards,
Yes.
to Aaron, to Rikki, to myself. We had a listener, and I will get her name. We'll shout her out the next time, who got us little Bravo stars.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So
The
cute.
cutest
Thank
things.
you.
Here, when Erin gets back, I feel like it's only appropriate when she's here because she got one for each of us. We just wanted to tell you, while we were going through our really difficult time, really lifted our spirits to hear from you all. You are not at all required to do that, and we know it was from your heart. So thank you so much. But yeah, that's how you find us.
Beautiful. Thank you, Candice. And just one other thing that's really exciting. We are also Amazon affiliates now. So that means that all the fun things that we've shared with you, like, cookbooks, or, a water bottle we like, or some of those books that we've shared with really great advice, we're able to link them so that you can access them and find them easily, find the same type that we've gotten in case you are wanting to find that for yourself. So we will also link that in the show notes. And we just thank you.
It's just
for
another way to support the podcast. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you can't be a subscriber, if you use that Amazon link, or if you just watch the videos on YouTube, those ads, all of that helps us. So we really appreciate you for doing that.
Yes. Well, thank you. And we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.